2015 was a very eventful year for the RUTS project. The first section of the construction work in Münsing was completed. The preparatory construction works in TP11 with the installation site Ament were also completed. The training slopes were rerouted and the construction work for the escape gallery of the Simmenfluh tunnel were started. Our biggest challenge was how to maintain 4 lanes of traffic at all times. The building works were carried out in 4 phases so that we could achieve this. In phase 1, the hard shoulder on the carriageway in the direction of Bern will be demolished and replaced with a reinforced hard shoulder. The traffic management system will be switched to push both of the lanes of traffic traveling in the direction of Bern into the reinforced hard shoulder. Phase 2 concerns the extension of the central reservation. There is now sufficient space to be able to extend the landscaped central reservation and create a building site on an island in the center with access for vehicles. To do this, we needed to clear the vegetation, build new drainage pipes and lay new road surface. The photograph shows the restricted conditions during the construction of the building site in the center. In phase 3, the carriageway in the direction of Thun will be extended. Once phase 2 is completed, there will be sufficient space on this carriageway to place 2 temporary lanes in each direction on the widened carriageway in the direction of Bern. It is now possible to rebuild the whole of the carriageway in the direction of Thun. The concrete carriageway will be demolished and the sheet pile wall for the drainage pipes will be sunk under the ground and surface water. Excavation can now take place and finally the water will be pumped out and the concrete surface will be laid. The shafts and the pipelines can now be constructed. Once these have been partially filled, the cable conduit installations can also be fitted. The sheet pile walls are removed, the connections are fitted and the new construction of the asphalt carriageway can be carried out. The demolition of the concrete is done using 2 different methods, with a cutter, which is a heavy fall sword, and the demolition cube roller. These impressions of the building site show the flooding situation and the laying of the asphalt. The 4 temporary lanes, 2 in each direction, will be moved onto the completed carriageway in the direction of Thun. This now enables us to carry out demolition on the carriageway in the direction of Bern. A cutter and a demolition roller will be used to demolish the concrete carriageway. For the construction of the pipeline sheet pipe walls are not necessary here, as the construction work will be carried out in late summer. The shaft, cable pipe installations and the connections can now all be dealt with simultaneously. The impression shows the works on sheet pile walls supporting the wall of a sound barrier. The construction works are complete and the traffic management system can now return to normal. The bridge forms an important connection as it takes the cantonal road over the motorway. Traffic on the cantonal road was restricted to one lane with temporary traffic lights for the whole duration of the construction works. The N06 motorway was only closed to traffic for a couple of nights, and apart from this, traffic flow was constantly maintained. The demolition and rebuilding followed in 2 stages, each side done separately. Demolishing and rebuilding the bridge in 2 separate halves posed a particularly big challenge. During the demolition, sufficient space had to be left, so that one lane in each direction could remain open. Firstly, the central foundations were erected. The middle section was temporarily held on Y-shaped supports. The bridge was split into 2 lengthways, using an industrial saw blade. Then the sections near the Y-shaped supports were also split in half. The first part of the demolition work was carried out on the carriageway in the direction of Thun. Solid steel grinders were used as an assembly aid for the demolition. Traffic on the cantonal road was diverted between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. the following morning. During this closure, motorway traffic was diverted into a single file lane on the opposite side of the demolition works. During the removal of every individual grinder, motorway traffic was stopped for approximately 5 minutes. Following this, the abutments and the supports were dismantled, widened and then replaced. The assembly requirements are now fulfilled. The purpose of this assembly is to exclusively reduce the required load of the central span of the bridge directly over the motorway. After the assembly, the lateral sections on the side away from the traffic can be sealed. The road surface is laid and the railings are replaced. This stage is now complete. The video shows the assembly of the southern half of the bridge. It illustrates the dimensions of the bridge supports and the physical and technical effort that is necessary to place every support in the correct position. It is also clear that the procedures can be carried out without any major problems occurring, even if it does take a lot longer than is shown in the film. The demolition assembly of Stage B must follow the appropriate procedure. However, the sharp skew angle of the bridge with the motorway posed a challenge during the demolition and rebuilding of the bridge. The north half of the bridge was split into 3 sections, each of which were halved in the middle near the Y-shaped supports. The demolition was carried out separately on each side of the carriageway. After the demolition, the abutments were dismantled, strengthened, and replaced. During the assembly, the crane had to be set up in an awkward position. After the assembly, the lateral sections were sealed and finally the road surface and the railings replaced. The sequence of pictures shows the most important intermediate stages. The existing training slopes located on the Ammerswiss military training area above the Tunnel, indicated by the red line, were used as a diversion route during the construction works on the tunnel for the 2 lanes of the carriageway in the direction of Thun. For this reason, a temporary training slope will have to be constructed, indicated by the blue line. At the south portal, there is an old fragmentation protection screen which will eventually be dismantled. A temporary entrance ramp for the diversion lanes must be erected along the red lane at the side of the dismantled fragmentation protection screen. We can see the preparation works for the first detonation. To absorb the noise and for safety reasons, excavation mats are placed on the work face. Once the preparatory works are finished, the traffic is stopped, the warning signal is sounded, and the detonation takes place. The picture sequence illustrates the location of the Tunnel and the escape gallery which leads to the Cantonal Road. Above the escape gallery there is an old bunker complex. Further pictures show the construction progress in the portal area and impressions of the celebrations on the feast day of St. Barbara on the 3rd of December 2015. The group photograph shows the ARGE escape gallery team, the construction manager and the employees from the participating authorities. The group photographs show the ARGE Kiru construction managers and the developers of TP1 and 2, and the ARGE Kiru team of foremen responsible for section TP1 and 2. And the participants from today's event in the Abeck Stiftung Regisberg. The video should illustrate that the construction of a motorway section, whilst keeping the maximum number of lanes open, leads to a complex situation from a structural point of view, one that demands the highest levels of cooperation and tolerance from all of those involved. At this point, we would like to thank all participating companies and authorities on behalf of our developers, the Bundesamt für Straßen, ASTRA, and we look forward to working with you again.